Hello and welcome to Still Got Legs, a Doctor Who Rewatch podcast brought to you by Another Happy Studios. Witches wreaking havoc around Elizabethan London. This is the Shakespeare Code. What did I say?
No.
I gave you one rule before we started recording. I explicitly said, do not dance because it is so distracting.
I only started dancing once your little speech bit was out of the way. And also, it was nowhere near the levels of, bouffontness my dances have reached in the past.
Look, both of these are true, but I still said no dancing.
Then I'm starting to think it's a me problem, Nathan, and not just a distraction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Still Got Legs, the only Doctor Who podcast in the world I've checked. Don't go looking for any others. My name is Nathan. I literally just said that. And I'm joined by Lawrence, who is my co-host. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am okay.
You seem sleepy.
I'm always sleepy. I'm also in a bit of a mood because I ordered Uber Eats and it was on its way, and then halfway through the guy called me and was like, "Oh, the road's closed. I can't get to you. I'll have to cancel the order." I'm like, "You are fully just eating my Taco Bell right now."
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, "Great, cool. I guess I'm not having dinner tonight then."
So is there only one road that leads to you?
Apparently, yes. Apparently there was no way around it, as it was totally unavoidable.
So if you were out, you'd be pretty screwed then, getting home.
I'm cut off from society, apparently. So
Nathan is currently being held at arm's length from us and his sand. What do you order?
I ordered a Taco Bell.
Oh yes.
So I've not had any dinner, so I'm grumpy.
No, that's not fair enough. I'd be pretty annoyed because you go through the hassle of what do I want to order? Then it's, where shall I order from? What shall I get from there? Pay for it. Wait for a bit. And then, yeah, it's like being in the middle of cooking a dinner and then someone comes in and just turns the hob off and throws the pan at the wall.
That would be pretty annoying.
Yeah. I feel for you. I'm sorry that happened, Nathan, but hopefully some good old Doctor Who will cheer you up. Your favourite episode, I'd imagine.
We'll see. So this is Series 3, Episode 2 of Doctor Who, the Shakespeare Code, written by Gareth Roberts, directed by Charles Palmer, returning from last week. Here we go.
This is the same writer as last week?
The same director as last week.
I see.
The last week was written by Russell T Davies.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Where to begin with this one? Our stomping ground?
I guess.
Nathan and I went to uni about 5 minutes down the road from where this is set, which is not massive because it's just London, central London.
Yeah, that could be anything. Yeah. Look, it's boring. It's not great, is it?
Do you know what it is? I think it's just after last week, it's a bit of a wet fart in terms of...
Do you remember, I think it was probably during Series 1 I was talking about, there's always what I find those, after the first episode of a series, there's always that second or third episode lull.
Yeah.
Just that little, this one's a bit... We've already hooked them with the opener. Let's have a bit of a shit one this week.
Yeah.
Let's not try as hard.
Concepts and drafts for, week 5 and onwards, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually an episode set in the past, and it's just usually a little bit dull. And this is very much in that vein.
This season's The Unquiet Dead, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Did season 2 have one? Did season 2 have a shit one?
Potentially they would have thought that Tooth and Claw would have been that, but it actually turned out to be an all-time banger.
Yeah.
By pure accident. Well, that's not fair. But yeah.
But by pure accident, some talent along the way.
Yeah. Talented writers and performers and everything. But, still.
I know what you're saying, though, because this one is, I don't know, it feels like a retread of The Unquiet Dead in the sense of, you take a companion on their second trip, it's in the past, and blah, blah, blah. And it's, I don't know, I feel like this, especially as two people like who know London, this could be great. This like the concepts and the ideas could be really good, but then
we know not. London. We know modern London. We don't know London 1599.
No, but like we're a couple of. We used to do an acting course, right? We're familiar with some Shakespeare, and like this could have been a bit of a jolly fun.
We've been to the Globe Theatre.
I have. Have you ever? What did you see?
I think I saw Romeo and Juliet there, and Hamlet, maybe.
I saw Macbeth.
Boring.
And someone from The Bill was in it.
Great. Tell you what, if you ever go see a show at the Globe, it can be fun because it's like, the Globe or whatever, and you can get like pretty cheap tickets if you like do the standing thing. But don't.
No.
Because like after a while, you're just like, fuck me, I want to sit down.
Yeah.
Like,
and like you're shoulder to shoulder with other people who also want to sit down. So you're all kind of swaying and leaning and
it's not like it's a concert because like a concert's different. If you like stood at a concert, you're like, it's a concert. You're like, you're energized. You're like, yeah, let's do this. But like a play, you're like, oh, fuck, I could really just do like a little quick 15-minute nap right now. Yeah.
And it's worse as well because like where the Globe, like as this episode does even explore, like it's in the round. So everywhere you look, there's someone having a better time than you sat down.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
No, not particularly. So we got a cold open.
We do. My first note is bro has that 1599 Riz.
Yeah, he does. He's playing his little. He's like a little would-be Romeo type, playing his instrument.
The lute, I believe it is. He's playing the lute. He's having a good sing along, and this young lady, this woman he's attempting to court, as it were. My God, is she horny for this song? Like, they're both immediately so horny together.
It's true. He practically stares down the lens and goes, "Tonight's the night."
Well, he plays his song and then she's like, "Yeah, let's fuck. Let's do it. Come upstairs. We'll consummate. Let's do this." And he's like, "Oh boy, yes, am I in for this?"
I knew it was a good idea to bring my lute with me.
Yeah. And then he walks into her flat or whatever, and he's like, "Fuck me, this place is messy. What's going on here?"
What was it? Can you call it like a flat? Well, like that's a modern thing, surely, like a flat.
What do you want me to call it?
Like, I don't know. What's the right word? Because it
her
doesn't.
homestead.
Homestead feels better than flat.
Homestead feels too big.
That's true. Yeah.
Homestead feels like a ranch or something.
Like a stately manor.
Yeah. Well.
What?
It feels more posh.
Yeah.
A home.
Home, yeah. He says it. He says something along the lines of like, "This is surely not somewhere that someone like you can live."
A dwelling.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? What do witches actually call their home? What would they call it? Get back to the cauldron? I don't know.
Well, they got just a home, wouldn't they?
I guess so. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, what is this? What are you trying to figure out here?
Who gives a shit? But yeah, Lilith's home is gross.
Yes.
But she introduces her mums.
She does. She's got two mums. I realised that this witch has two mothers, so I fully support these lesbian witches and their daughter trying to take over Elizabethan London. That's... Yeah, why not?
Why not? Mother Doomfinger and Mother Bloodtide. Good on them. Yeah.
Is that their names? Didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, didn't you? She says it. No. She reads their names out about 80 times in this episode.
No, could not. Did not pick it up at all. I did notice, though, that she just unironically stares down the barrel of the camera and then just tells us her whole plan and then cackles like a witch just to let you know what you're in for. Really.
Top 10 weirdest fucking moments so far. Like it's just it is just they're eating someone and then she's like, "While you're eating this guy, I'm gonna tell the Doctor Who audience what's going on." But yeah, very strange. But then we cut back to like a bit more of a familiar setting. We're with the Doctor and Martha. If we remember from last week, the Doctor is this is direct continuation. The Doctor's a little bit more like, he was a bit miffed. I don't know, what's the word? He was very adamant that this wasn't a regular situation.
He's hesitant to take on a new companion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying, "Martha, because she did well. She performed admirably in the hospital during the Smith and Jones escapade. Let's give her one trip, kind of as a reward, bit of fun, see what happens, and then off you go back home.
I wouldn't want to go here.
Nah, it'd be boring.
It would be, wouldn't it?
You get one trip and it's wasted on fucking Elizabethan London. Dead, man.
I'll be like, oh wow, it's where I went to uni, but somehow even more shit.
Yeah, somehow a lot more gross.
Yeah, I mean, literally, she steps out the TARDIS and someone just almost flings a bucket of poo on her head.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would you go? I wouldn't. Not here.
I'd want to say somewhere in the future, like, I don't know, let's say, the trouble is you don't want to go too far, so then, like, nothing's, like, recognizable and stuff. Like, you want to see how things have changed. So I would say a good 150 to 200 years, I would say.
Really? That far?
Yeah. Let's see how things have progressed. I'll just, like, download all the new Star Wars movies and then just go back home.
Well, Martha tries to sneak off with a secret Shakespeare play, doesn't she, and flog it.
Yeah, fair play to her.
The Doctor's not supportive. I think that's fine. I'd do that.
Yeah, I think it's fine. He's done worse shit, man.
Hang on, didn't we fucking criticise Adam for trying to do the exact same thing? We're like,
what
an
different.
Idiot.
No, I won't have this. Adam was doing some shit about microchips. So Adam's different, all right? I don't know how yet, but he is. All right?
Not having this Adam revisionist history going on.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I've got a little note that says the Doctor's like us in that he failed his driving test, but then I realised neither of us had ever attempted to take one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thanks for putting that out there.
I was culpable too. I smeared my own good name too.
Great. Yeah. I, a 29-year-old man, do not have a full... I have a provisional license, but I do not have a full valid driver's license. What failures we are.
What does a TARDIS test look like? Like a driving test?
What are you talking about right now?
I'm just... But this is law. This is new established law for us.
What's the law?
The law is that Time Lords would have had to have taken a driving test and passed to fly a TARDIS. The Doctor failed.
Well, you see, TARDISes...
TARDI, I believe.
No, it's not that. I think it might just be TARDIS. But a TARDIS is designed to be piloted by like 6 or 7 people at once.
Yeah.
So, like... How would that work? Surely it would have to be some sort of group test, and you'd have to like fly it with like a squad or whatever.
Maybe everyone gets their position. Like you're on the wheel that goes ding or whatever.
Yeah,
you're the wheel.
You're on this piece of broken shit in that little crevice or whatever.
You're on the miscellaneous BBC artifacts scrolled across the thing.
You're typing on this little keyboard which isn't plugged into anything. Yeah.
And your job is to look at the monitor and go,
Right.
Yeah, but he failed. So yeah. I like that. I like that every now and again you get a little nugget of Gallifreyan insight. But yeah, so what happens? Where do we go?
I'll tell you what happens, Lawrence. Something that's never quite... every time I watch this episode, something that always just feels off is the way Ten just brushes off Martha's worry about like racism and being taken away as a slave and stuff. Like, I feel like she has a very valid point in bringing that up. She knows about history. She knows about Black history and what people of her race have been through and that type of stuff. So I feel like that's a very valid worry to suddenly find yourself back in time. And he's just like, what? Why would that be? I've never had an issue with that. Yeah. So like, why? Oh, you've never had an issue, have you? You who've been white for ever. Like, okay.
Yeah, forever. Yeah, you have had the privilege of being several white men.
Exactly. Yeah, it felt so patronizing.
It
really.
Did a bit, yeah.
It just really felt like Martha's foolish to be worried about racism. It just felt like, silly Martha, no, it's not as bad as you think. It's all fine.
This is one of the points of the episode that kind of grates me, because this episode is obsessed with being like, Martha doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gross. Like there's parts of it where like it what you're saying about like she brings up the point of like, hey, it's kind of dangerous for me to be here, no. And the doctor like sums it up by being like, this world's not too different from the world you know. And he looks around and it's just several shots of the world looking completely different from the world we know.
Yeah.
But some guys like, the fire will gobble us up or whatever, and the doctor's like, see, global warming, presumably giving that man nightmares for the rest of his life.
Oh, there's a guy shoveling horse shit into a bucket. See, they got recycling. It's exactly the same. Oh, okay. Silly me.
Yeah, that's what I think when I take out like a poo bag for my dog on a walk. I'm like, I'm recycling.
Now. Silly old Martha.
Do you find that this episode is weirdly obsessed with bringing up Martha's race as well?
It is brought up a lot.
About 3 times in 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's... I don't know.
It's strange.
It is strange. I mean, you can, like, you can bring up a race and talk about it, but just the way it's brought up, it's just like, oh, I don't want to be a slave. Shut up. All right.
Yeah.
And then, oh, who's this hot, sexy black lady? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're just fetishizing Martha, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine when like Martha as a character like has those concerns, because that's just interesting writing.
Yes.
Like you would like, it's a black person traveling back in time would have a different perspective and immediate opinion to Rose going back in time, for example.
Of course, yeah.
So like it's more interesting, but then when it is basically just like an extended 5-minute sequence of Shakespeare being like, and I think he says something along the lines of like, my dark queen or something towards the end. And it's like,
I don't know. He calls her a queen of Africa at one point.
Yeah, that's
that's
no good.
That's just fucking grim, man.
Yeah,
no good. I will say this, that kind of stuff is handled better down the line. A lot better. But yeah, for this era, it's just kind of like, I want to say of the era, but even for 2007, it still feels a bit like, come on.
I think they walked. Smith and Jones was excellent, and I think they walked back a step.
Yes, yeah, I do too.
I think they were terrified of having the first black companion be too competent. That in the second one they went, let's course correct that a bit. She doesn't know everything, and she has all these silly concerns, and yeah, it's overall not great. And this is one of the, I know it gets worse as it goes on, but like the 1-2 punch of Smith and Jones being as good as it was, and then this being like, oh, Martha's now just wants to kiss the doctor and is scared about silly things.
Yeah,
seems a bit weird. Speaking of seeming a bit weird, Shakespeare is in this.
Yes, he is. The doctor tells Martha as they go into the play. I think this is before that. But he tells her, "Oh, you can tell everyone you saw Shakespeare." And then Martha just says, "And then I can get sectioned," which was just very funny.
Yeah,
just a great little line from Martha there. Good delivery from Freema.
Just more 10, just having no concept of like, you can't go around talking about this kind of stuff, man. Like you, similar to in Shakespeare's day, if you go around talking about witches, you're just gonna get locked up to a degree. Yeah,
potentially. So Shakespeare is here. It's pretty hot.
He's a proper himbo, isn't he?
Yeah, they made Shakespeare hot. They like saw that portrait of the weird balding old man, and they were like, no, let's have someone hot. Let's just ignore that completely.
Yeah. I don't know, like part of me is like, I like the subversion of him being like just kind of a regular bloke.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, he doesn't seem like Shakespeare in any way. Like when
what would you expect from a Shakespeare? Some weird sort of, oh, I love reading. I love to be or not to be. Plays.
No, there's a middle ground, isn't there?
What's the middle ground? Give me your perfect Shakespeare.
My perfect Shakespeare is probably less handsome,
all right,
and definitely less like horny, and
all right,
maybe a bit more whimsy in his day-to-day speech. And how he how he kind of conducts himself rather than just on the stage. He's like, well, do I compare the, and he's all these fanciful words, and he gets hailed as the greatest writer that ever lived, and blah 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 by everyone he meets. And then just walking around, he's like, you know loads, Doctor, don't you?
Isn't that kind of the point though? Because like the Doctor, like when he walks on stage for the first time, the Doctor's like, oh, he's such a genius. He always chooses just the best words, the most poetic, well-crafted words to speak, and this is only how he ever talks. And then it's just such a shut your big fat mouths, just a big subversion of expectations sort of thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the point? They're like, oh, he's not, he's not all what you think he is.
I see that. And I get that. But I don't know, I just think he seems modern. He seems too out of place and a bit modern.
Yeah. I think that's just, a bit of Doctor Who fun, really, though. I remembered to tweet out this week if anyone had any thoughts on the episode, and you mentioned there that he's a little bit horny, and people agree with you because Greg Cactusface at G Cactusface on Twitter wrote in and said, "Is Shakespeare the horniest person so far in Doctor Who?" Now look, he's pretty horny. Don't know if he's the horn. We've had some real fucking horn dogs on this show so far, man.
Yeah.
First one that comes to mind, Jack.
Yeah, Captain Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know if anyone could ever take his crown of the horniest.
Half of his character is horny.
Yes. Who else has been horny?
Elton's pretty horny.
Jackie
is horny in season 1.
Jackie is she's always horny.
That's true.
I think. Yeah, Jackie is very horny. And so is Elton. Well, yeah, Elton. Yeah, he's a bit horny. And so's the Absorber.
To do what Elton does,
yeah,
you have to be very horny.
Okay. Let's not go. Look, Shakespeare is very horny. I will give you this, Greg Cactusface. I don't know if he's the horniest person so far, but he is. He's pretty up there, mate. Yeah. Like, as soon as he sees Martha, he's like, nonny, here we bloody go, boys.
Top 10... the most horrific dialogue I've ever heard.
Well, you're criticizing Shakespeare himself, are you?
If he's going to act like this, then yes. Right. No, yeah, I don't think he's the most horny, but he certainly is horny.
Yes,
and to an inexcusable degree. But yeah, I've got to think when the Doctor and Martha meet Shakespeare. We spoke last week about how like 10 just really like is so blasé about like, I got 2 hearts. Look at me. I'm not human.
Yeah.
And this week he just like when he said John Smith, at least that was like a pseudonym. At least it was an attempt. And this week he's just like, I'm Doctor of TARDIS. Hello.
Did he not do the same thing with the Queen? Did he not? In Tooth and Nail, was he not Sir Doctor of TARDIS?
Was he Sir Doctor of TARDIS?
I've definitely heard Sir Doctor of TARDIS before, but I don't know if I'm thinking ahead. I might be thinking ahead. But I've definitely heard Sir Doctor of TARDIS before.
Does she knights him Doctor of TARDIS?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she knights him Sir Doctor of TARDIS. And Dame Rose of the Powell Estate.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so you're wrong.
There we go, that's fine. Well, then, now, actually, has that happened yet? I don't know history that well.
No, that's after this. So
there we go then. So technically I'm right in one way or another.
But in his timeline, it has happened.
I see your point, but I raised you that we live a linear timeline. So.
Yeah, but the Doctor doesn't.
Yeah, but
am I talking about the Doctor?
in the only way I could know I'm right.
Okay, well I feel like
I'm cheating, it's true.
Yes, you are. We get another little moment of like in Tooth and Nail, Martha, trying to fit in, get down with the local lingo and stuff, and be like, forsooth, egads, and all this sort of stuff. And then the Doctor's just like, no, don't do that.
A good don't do that delivery from Tennant again.
Yeah,
he loves these scenes.
Good stuff. He also hates starting from scratch. So like,
I think that's quite a fun moment because, like, I know it's like a kind of like a little meta fun of like the audience know this because they've watched season 1 and 2, so
yeah,
let's just breeze past this. But I also think it definitely plays into Ten's character a little bit. He's like, oh, Rose knew all of this kind of shit, like fucking hell. But yeah, no, I like that little moment. I think Tennant's really good in this episode.
Yeah. I don't know. He pissed me off at times, but we'll talk about it.
Oh,
but...
yeah, right. Yeah, but that's his writing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You really don't like this one, do you?
No. There's a lot. It's a big it's no one thing. It's like just a big cocktail of things that all swarm together just to make a not great episode. Really.
What if we put some interesting concepts into a cocktail shaker, and then at the very last minute, before pouring it into the glass, we just threw in some sexism and racism in there as well? Yeah,
and some references that in 20 years we can look back on and just be like, oh. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's not well aged, is it?
No, it is not. Yeah, my next note here is just a Queen of Africa and then just gross. So yeah, Shakespeare immediately again laying on that 1599 Riz. He's again very horny. He has a wife apparently, but he's like he's sleeping with the woman who runs this pub or whatever it is. And then apparently, like she says, she's gonna give him a special treat at one point. Yeah, like a blowjob, I imagine. But
I guess, but
I think that's the first time the word blowjob has been said on Stockholm.
Didn't sit right with me, I'll be honest.
Nor me, I might be.
I don't know if I liked hearing it.
No, me neither. It felt wrong. Even when I was saying it, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right."
That's not something you can even say like in the moment either. Like you can't.
Nah, you gotta think about that.
That's not a good word.
No, it's not.
What would you call it in 1599 or whatever years?
A gobby.
Fucking Christ. I know you. I know that's getting bleeped. Fucking hell, man.
No, I reckon I might keep it. Oh, one awful thing to say.
I like to think we're quite, like, we have a bit of fun, but we're sometimes quite, like, we're articulate in the points. We try and bring a bit of somewhat class to this.
But that was one of those moments where, like, even before you finished saying it, my answer was ready. It had popped into my head, and I just couldn't resist.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But yeah, so anyway. He's definitely, like, he might be... He's definitely trying to sleep with Martha. He's not being cavalier about that at all.
Yes.
He's definitely doing something with the person who owns his, like, the inn that he stays in or frequents.
Yeah. The Elephant. Oh, that might be Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Here's a challenge for the listeners. Take all these little references and try to figure out where we went to uni.
I promise you 2 Google searches and you're there. They find out that the play Love's Labour's Lost is it ends abruptly, and they're like,
well, they don't find that out. That's just a thing.
Oh no, that's just a thing, yeah. But like,
yeah, it's not like a big revelation. That, like,
what? It ends how?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the actors are quite surprised that after. They don't know this, but he's been taken control a little bit by a carrier knight, and the idea to put on the sequel to the play, which he calls Love's Labour's 1, has to be done the next day, and that's obviously because the plot needs that to happen.
Yes.
So anyway, the Doctor and Martha go to investigate that a little bit because the Doctor's like, maybe there's something going on here. It was going to be a quick trip, but I suppose we can check this out. Because he can't resist. He can never resist a little intriguing mystery.
Yes.
He goes there, and then, seemingly, things are resolved. Because a guy comes, and he's like, I'm the play police, and you can't put on the play, because you didn't tell me about the play.
Yeah. Just quickly, the whole... I definitely did my research and didn't just look this up on Wikipedia right now. But the whole Love's Labour's 1 thing is actually real. That's actually true. It is a lost play attributed to Shakespeare. All we know is that it was written sometime between 1598 and published before 1603, which fits in the timeline of this episode. No copies are known to have survived, and scholars dispute whether it is a true lost work, possibly a sequel to Love's Labour's Lost, as the title suggests. So there you go. I
figured it had to be, like, it was too weird of a thing to write in for it to not be like something.
Nah, they can. I feel like they can just make shit up all the time.
It's true, yeah, they can do. They have done, so.
Yeah, exactly. Why not just make a new Shakespeare play up? Why not?
But yeah, the play. So the play police. He's like, "Oi, you're not gonna ever put this play on, mate, and I'm gonna, I'll see you in court or whatever the fuck." And then he leaves, and obviously that
a hearty retelling of events.
But the Carrion, that's going to interrupt the Carrionites' plans. So Lilith,
again, more horniness afoot, because she's like coming onto him, and he's like, "Get out of here, you foul wench! I'll be back for you later."
And the hushed tones. There is a bit of that, and it's like nothing can interrupt this man's quest to tear down Shakespeare, who has dared to dispute his weird rules about. Is that a fucking thing? Like, what is that?
I don't know.
What's his job?
He's the play police, Lawrence. No one can do a play without him knowing it.
Shakespeare announces it's happening on stage. He's like, Nino, no one told me about this. Hang on.
Look. He's like the play mafia. Like, nothing goes down in his town without him like getting a cut of the action or whatever.
But you're like, he's gonna be like the rest of us, because when we read Shakespeare now, unless you're clever, I normally have the little books. I normally have the little left-handed page that tells me what's actually being said.
Not me.
He doesn't have that. The play police. So he's just gonna read it and be like, "Okay, I guess this is fine." Like, well, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with this, I suppose. And like,
true, yeah.
What's their relationship in that, like, because he's had so many other plays go on, so every time is it this hostile, like, "Show me the play," and he reads it.
Well, no, I think it's only hostile because it's on tomorrow night.
Oh, really? I see, okay.
Like, yeah, usually they'd have a bit of notice, and like, it wasn't supposed to be tomorrow night. It was supposed to be next week, wasn't it? But the Carrier brought it forward, so it's just like, "You're doing a play tomorrow? I wasn't told." And yeah, that's
he's like, "Thanks."
I'd imagine Shakespeare normally would go through the proper routes and be "Look, I'm doing Romeo and Juliet next week. Here's a script. Love to see you there."
I just love the idea of this guy. He doesn't abide by the proper channels and process one time, and he's like, "Listen here, the most profitable playwright in England. I swear to God, I'm going to destroy you and possibly my own industry in the process."
I don't know if he was revered as the best during his time.
Was he not? Really? Was he?
Well, he was just one of them, because there was quite a lot of playwrights and stuff, wasn't there?
That's true. Yeah.
It was just for some reason, like, he's the one who has survived the longest. But yeah, it was the entertainment of the day. So yeah, there was.
That's true.
But then again, he was good. I don't know.
He's fine, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's alright. He does the job.
So yeah. Anyway. So the play police. I'll tell you what. He definitely he devoted as much of his life to stopping the play as he could, because he ain't alive for much longer.
Yeah, he died for it. Bless him. He drowns on land.
Yeah. Massive L.
Great.
No, but imagine drowning on land.
Yeah, it'd be pretty rough, I imagine. Drowning in general has always freaked me out. Like, that's the worst way to go. Yeah, I think it's just
painful to the end.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can do about it. You just gotta like suffer until for a couple of minutes, just knowing you're gonna die. Unless you can see somewhere where you can get air, you're just like, "Oh, well, I'm resigned to this, I suppose." Yeah. Why did they stab him? If they were going to drown him, why did they bother stabbing him in the heart at the end? Like, nail in the coffin style, like, he's done now. Good point, yeah, don't know. Fine. Looks cool, I guess. I think it was cooler when he was, like, choking out water. That was cool. Yeah, but, like, I don't know, you're probably just, like like the blow to the heart is like a good final, like, end it. Like, I feel like if he was drowning, it had just like gone on for a bit, and then it just, you know. Also,
I suppose that there's probably, you know, Martha's there, modern medicine. They could have maybe found a way to help.
Yeah, that's right. Because we all know that drowning was famously cured by 2005.
No, but she might know some better techniques. I don't know.
No, yeah, it's true. Yeah, drowning, it was cured. We did it, boy.
No, that's not what I mean. Fuck's sake. I like the. We get a fun little line of like, you know, you tell them this, and they'll panic and say it's witchcraft. And Martha says, "What is it then?" And he goes, "Oh, witchcraft."
Yeah,
that's a good little line.
It is good. Yeah, good delivery from David Tennant there. Yeah.
Did you think that there was a moment where like Shakespeare becomes like the BBC Sherlock in his like Martha and the Doctor come back in, and suddenly Shakespeare's like, "And you, Doctor, you're not from round these parts, and Martha, you want to give him a kiss, and I can see this."
I feel like all throughout the episode, they're like, "Oh, Shakespeare's a genius, and Shakespeare knows everything just because his plays are kind of good."
Yeah.
Like, they're like, okay, so like we have to make him the smartest cunt ever. I'm like, do you really? Like, what is this weird superpower you've given him? Like, at the end, not to jump ahead, but he's like, you're an alien from another world, and Martha's from the future. All right, how?
Yeah.
Like, what?
He's like, it doesn't take a genius to work out. I'm like, but Martha, like, Martha could have been the alien. Like, you don't know. How do you know all it? Have you seen Doctor Who?
Yeah, exactly. It's because he is on a TV show called Doctor Who.
Yeah,
he's been written that way.
Did like also was Shakespeare like? This is going to make me sound super ignorant, but I'm okay. I'm happy to give up something that I should probably keep to myself.
You studied drama.
I studied drama. That doesn't. That makes this worse.
Probably, yeah.
But like, is Shakespeare like a genius of his time, or did he just make up a lot of words?
He did make up a lot of words.
Yeah.
That is an established fact. Yeah.
So I could be Shakespeare if I went around being like, "Biggly wiggly." And
well, no. There's a difference. There's definitely a difference. I'm not sure Biggly Wiggly would cut through to the future generations.
You don't know this.
It's true, I don't.
When you travel 200 years into the future, look me up.
Okay, yeah, I will.
And see my profitable estate.
Died alone and afraid.
Saying Biggly Wiggly into the wall.
Saying something about Biggly Wiggly. I don't know, we didn't really take much notice of him, to be honest. No, so with Shakespeare, look, I'm no expert by any means, but from what I understand, his plays were well liked enough at the time, and like I said, they survived through the ages. The whole sort of genius thing, I don't know if that's ever real. I think like his plays are good. There's good writing in there, and there are ideas which kind of challenge the time they're from. Like, a lot of people will say, like, you know, like, he writes women characters great for the time, which yeah, maybe. But it's not exactly Barbie, is it?
It's not Greta Gerwig's Barbie.
It's not Greta Gerwig's Barbie feminist masterpiece, is it? So,
and by the way, if you're interested in hearing more of those thoughts, you can check out Another Happy Pod at Another Happy Pod on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram. Thanks and bye.
Great. And also on the podcast feed where you can actually listen to it.
That's true, yeah.
Not just on Twitter or X.
Fucking hell, yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, is he a genius? Who knows? According to Doctor Who, yes. This whole, even the name of the episode, it very much reads like a Sherlock story, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Like the Shakespeare Code, like that's a Sherlock Holmes title right there.
Also, it's a stretch. Like, he wrote a play. It's not a code. It's not like, and at the end, he basically just like, he wrote an entire play, and then at the end is just like, Rexus 19, and that's not a code. That's just words.
But what is a code other than words?
Oh, who cares? I don't care, do you?
No. What happens next? I'm bored of this bit.
Yeah, fair. So the Doctor, we can gloss over this or we can go into it depending on how much you want to platform something like this.
Oh, great, okay.
Another moment where the Doctor knows something from the future that is now actually in our past.
Yep, no, take this away. Don't want to talk about this.
Fair enough.
We'll talk about the thing later.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this right now.
That is fair. Well, this scene in general we can talk about because like it's the there's only one bed.
The trope of every fanfic writer for decades. They all one hotel room, one bed. Oh no!
How will I platonically share a bed?
What a tragedy!
Oh no, we're both fully clothed and in. What are we gonna do?
Oh no, there's a rainstorm. Now our clothes are soaking wet. Oh, we just got. What do you mean there's only one hotel room left and we have to share? Fine, you woman on this plane who I had a disagreement with and we were very angry with earlier, we'll share this room for tonight. But that's it.
And there'll be no kissing. None.
And there'll be absolutely no kissing.
You won't wake up partially undressed and think, oh my god, what happened last night?
Anyway, hit me up if you want my AO3 account link, and I'll give you the good stuff. Lawrence has no idea what that means. They know, don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, so this is... I don't like this writing. This scene is bad.
First of all right... Would you use that toothbrush? No. I certainly wouldn't. He just pulls it's not wrapped or anything. He just pulls a dry toothbrush out of his pocket and is like, "Yeah, use that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I don't even put my toothbrush anywhere that isn't my bathroom without wrapping the top of it in a bit of toilet paper. I don't have a toothbrush holder. I should get one. I waste a lot of toilet paper transporting my toothbrush.
Do you not have like a little cup on your sink or whatever?
No. Well, what do you mean a little cup? What do you mean?
Like I live alone.
Oh no!
Oh no! Just moment of
Nathan, whose toothbrush?
Genuine moment of self-awareness on the phone. No, I have a little, just like a little cup you put on your, not like a cup. It's like a little toothbrush cup.
Oh, yeah. I'll put it in that. But like if I go stay somewhere else and I want to take my toothbrush.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Do you not have like a little travel bag for like your toiletries and stuff?
I do, but I don't want it touching a bunch of other stuff, all the bristles and such.
Oh, mine's got a little pocket for the toothbrush.
Oh no, mine doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Anyway, welcome back to Still Got Toothbrush Holders.
Anyway, yeah, don't be using that toothbrush, Martha. It's like.
Yeah.
Your teeth will end up worse.
Yeah. It's grim. Also, no one here, like she even said, it comes up later on in the episode, no one else is brushing their teeth. Like, just own it.
No, they're all grim. Right, so what else happens in the scene? So he gives her a terrible toothbrush, then they shuffle up on the bed.
Yeah. I do like that there is just... I get that it like later on I don't like it, but at first I do like how like the Doctor just does not see the one bed in any sexual context whatsoever. He's just like, you're going to stand there all fucking night, get on the bed.
Yeah, it's not even a possibility of a thought to him. It's just simply, this is where we spend the night, so be it, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, then it gets stupid in its way of Martha being like, oh, one bed, leaning. Sorry, I turned into a DJ there. I'm not sure what happened. Leaning in, and the Doctor's like, if only Rose was here. Rose.
Well, the Doctor leans in first. He's the one who turns over onto his side and like shuffles into her, and then Martha follows suit.
Yeah.
So he does instigate the leaning in, but then yes, he does then just ultimately kill the mood and just be like, "Oh, Rose, I wish Rose was here. Rose is so much better than you."
Yeah, but that's the writer's way of being like, Rose is so much better than you. You suck. You're not telling me anything I need to know. Rose would be telling me what I need to know.
I don't like it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a bit gross.
No, it's not. I really don't like it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do like.
Go on then.
This is a lie. I don't like it. I think it's silly and looks weird.
Right.
Is the carrier? I keep saying the carrier knight. Lilith is one of the only ones that is like, she's the one that's going around doing stuff. The other two like may as well be fucking animatronics because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Lilith goes over to Shakespeare and is like, let's plant the seed. Let's, he's finishing the draft for for the play that he needs to perform tomorrow and needs to give the actors in the morning.
Yeah.
She possesses him so that he writes the weird fucking words. And possessed Shakespeare does a silly, goofy face.
Does he?
Yeah, did you not catch it? Like a weird, like, pretend you're possessed acting school face.
Eyes slightly out of focus.
Yeah, like, and
yeah.
For audio listeners, if you haven't seen the episode and you're just casually listening to this for whatever, the face I can describe it would be paired with a noise like ooh, just a silly oh kind of face.
Yeah. Okay.
Do your noise for the face.
Hold on. Let me picture the face.
Oh, Nathan needs to prep. he's an actor, everyone.
Whoa.
That is no different to mine, but with a bit more zest.
Yeah, well, I performed it.
Do you know what? I'll take it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that happens, and then the Doctor and Martha, they wake up, and they go and check out the. I don't have any notes for this, but they go and speak to like the architect guy.
No, yeah, I have no notes for this either, but I do have a note that says "Nighty Night Shakespeare," which is just a funny line. Yeah. I think
That's good.
just the way it's said from just this very passive "Nighty Night Shakespeare" sort of thing.
Yeah, just yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, bit of fun. But yeah, they go to Bedlam, which is Bethlehem Hospital, and then go to seek out the architect. They all have a good bit of a shout at I know the guy who I hesitate to call him the Doctor because all he does is whip people.
Yeah, just walks around and is like, "Is something wrong?" And they're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Well, fuck off then."
All right, lock yourself up. Off you go up.
Yeah. Let me go in and make him decent for the lady. I'm like, why is he sitting there naked, man? Why is that his recreational state?
But then there's just more talk of like Shakespeare being like, tell me of Fredonia where women can be doctors and all this sort of stuff. And it's good bit of fun.
Shakespeare has two modes in this episode past the introduction scene. That the first mode is being like in a way that can only be described as affectionately racist to Martha.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other one is basically the writer hitting the button of basically, oh, that sounds pretty good. I should steal that for my writing. Oh. Over and fucking over, and it's the joke that never ended.
Did you not like that?
I liked it for the first maybe 3 goes.
Yeah.
And then it carried on. And then it carried on to like stuff that weren't even like the Doctor would be like, achoo, I sneezed. And he'd be like, that's pretty good, that. Achoo, I should write that down. Like, no, you shouldn't.
I don't think he did.
Not to that effect, but like it was the Doctor would say anything and he's like,
Yeah, you would say specifically like quotes from like literature and stuff. And then he'd be like, I like that.
I don't like that, Shakespeare.
All right,
I won't be stealing that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, they go and that was the architect. He like says the witches made me build it that way or whatever.
I don't care. All sorts of witchcraft nonsense happens. Eyes were glazing over, if I'm being honest with you.
This is like the most tiresome scene, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't care about any of this. A witch shows up, and then the Doctor's like, oh, you're a witch, and then she burns or whatever. Who cares?
It's the power of a name, Nathan. That conveniently works only once.
It is true. What happens after? Where's the good stuff, if there is any? We've been recording for 52 minutes. Let's get through this.
Yeah, let's true. All right, let's speed run this. Funny, obligatory 14. Why does that ring a bell? Line. Have to mention that now that he's the 14th Doctor.
Wait, what?
He walks into the globe and he's like 14 sides, 14. Why does that ring a bell?
Oh, I see. You're okay.
It doesn't get resolved, and a lot of people have been like, "Oh, they planned it." They didn't.
No, they absolutely did not. 57 academics just punched the air. That's a good bit of fun.
That is, I like that. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. Good bit of fun. There was one moment where fucking the Doctor goes to confront the witch or whatever, and she tries to name him. I think just like what happened in Bedlam, and it doesn't work on him. And she does it to Martha. It's like, I gaze upon this bag of bones, and I name thee Martha Jones. Awful, but also great at the same time. It's like so bad it's good. First of all,
So
with
cheesy,
that weird,
yeah.
very cheesy, very Doctor Who cheesy. But then, like they're just like, something cold wind blows. I know you because you love Rose or whatever. And at this point, my eyes just fully rolled in my head, and I was like, oh my god, I get it. It's just like. Fucking stop bringing her up. Move on.
And then what bothers me more is the 10th Doctor's like, you shouldn't have said that name because that's the name that keeps me fighting. And I'm like, he just knocked out your mate.
Exactly.
Can that not keep you fighting?
Yeah. Oh, like I know, I get it. She's very important to him, and she is a great character. We love her a lot, and yeah, she is very important to him. And he recently lost her. I get it, but fucking, let's just have a bit of like. Moving forward rather than just looking back at what we've lost.
Yeah.
Okay, let's focus. We've got a great companion here. Let's celebrate and focus her rather than just constantly being like, oh, I miss Rose. Rose isn't here.
It like retroactively, it's a harder pill to swallow because we now know that Martha's only there for one. She's a one and done companion.
She does come back in series 4 for a few episodes.
She does, but like ultimately. Her character is explored here.
Yes.
And, like, I don't even care. If you want to bring up Rose, that's fine. Keep bringing up Rose, but don't do it at the expense of giving Martha something to do.
Yeah,
like, they literally knocked Martha out so that they could talk about Rose.
Exactly. They literally just wrote her out of the scene, so...
And then she wakes up when she leaves, and it's like, what's wrong? And the Doctor's like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good. Yeah, but a bit stupid and dumb. And also, like,
yes,
it's very telling to me that, like, they literally, no disrespect to this writer, but they chose this man to handle Shakespeare, and he came up with Bones rhymes with Jones.
Hello.
Fine.
Yeah, fine. I don't think I could do much better.
No, but I also don't get paid to write this episode, so.
No, that's true. That's true.
Anyway.
Let's not disparage writers too much.
Yeah, support the WGAs.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole bit on it on our podcast recently. So let's not just be like, oh, they don't deserve shit.
Yeah, fuck them. As that like point was leaving my mouth, I was like, is it worth saying? And then I remembered that I liked the fact that I drew Shakespeare and Bones and Jones together, and I was like, I'll take the L for this one. I'm happy to say. Yeah. The Carrier Knight mothers, Mrs. Blood fucking Doom Knob.
Do not know their names.
I've scrolled up on my notes. I'm not scrolling back.
Yeah, I delete my notes as we go on.
No. They went to the Ian McDiarmid School of Palpatine acting.
What's this now?
This is no disrespect. They play their roles wonderfully.
Yeah,
as does Ian
McDiarmid.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
It's true. I will. A lot of neck movement and open mouth with a tongue that is just not still. But not moving and waggling?
Yes.
Just kind of floating.
That's sinister-ish.
Yeah.
So, I guess it gets the point across.
One of them has an amazing witch voice, and the other one is just kind of doing a voice. But one of
the
them
young one tries to do it. The young one, Lilith, I think her name is. She also tries to do a witch voice occasionally. Like sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, hello, I'm Lilith. I'm talking normally, but sometimes I'm a little witch."
Yeah. It's like sometimes she's like attractive, and then other times she's like, "I'm a gross old woman.
I'm ugly too."
Yeah, I've got a big nose and whatever, like, big prosthetic fake nose.
Yeah. What's going on with these what are the Carrier Knights? Are they just like they're just aliens that are just basically witches, aren't they?
So some are old, decrepit, witch, ugly women.
Yes.
Some are ugly, not as old women that can turn into normal-looking women.
Yes.
And some are big CGI birds.
Yes.
That also sound like women.
Yes. And they use words instead of numbers or something.
Yeah, where I think it's like described. That was something I found quite interesting. It's a pity that nothing came of it whatsoever. It's like, as a society, we've explored maths, and funnily enough, this is Oppenheimer week, and he brings up the splitting the atom and all of this.
Oh my god, when you marry it. Oh, God.
Me and Oppenheimer.
I actually liked the movie. I have some issues with it, don't worry.
No. But yeah, so I like
Goes
that
on a
concept.
bit.
I like the concept of like fucking what did you say?
Goes on a bit.
Not here, Nathan.
Sorry.
I like the concept of like we explored maths, we explored numbers, and it led us to where we are. But
I don't think that's true though. Like yes, it's true that we explored the universe through maths, but because that's what the universe is, though.
Yeah.
Like it's. I don't think it's like possible. Like there's one planet that went, no, we do everything with words, because that's just not like
no,
how
it doesn't
works.
work like that. But
I'm not a scientist. Like, I don't know. You'll have to. Catherine's a scientist. Ask Catherine. But like, I don't know shit. All right. So like, maybe, but I don't think that's how it works.
Catherine,
so,
this is an open call to you to tell us, tweet us, let us know, message us.
Please explain the science of the Carrionites to us.
Yeah, and does the power of a word, or does the power of a name truly hold this weight to it?
If you could give us a scientific explanation of the power of a name,
the scientific explanation is like, I don't know, academically shut the fuck up.
That's fair.
And then we're at the play. The play begins. Everyone's having a wicked fun time. Shakespeare comes on, and he's like, "Stop the play!" And then the guy's like, "He iggledy piggledy, he's had a beer or something."
Iggledy piggledy, he's had a. Lawrence once again trying to get his iggledy piggledy.
Biggly wiggly, he's had a glass of drink too big.
He's had a beery weary. Yeah. Horrendous.
Anyway, yes, they drag Shakespeare off. I quite like that, because the first time we see him, he does bumble on stage, like, "Shut your mouth." So
yeah,
I like that this time, like, he comes on stage and they're like, "He's pissed again, man. He's had a few beers. Just take him off." So the witches are clapping. Shakespeare's been sent off, and basically, like, the words create some sort of portal, and all the Carrionites come out, and they're all, going around, flying, going ah ha ha ha, and whatever.
Yeah, just doing general witchy nonsense.
Yeah, none of them going anywhere, doing anything. They're all just like, let's fly here for a bit.
We've
been free. We've been freed from like eternal imprisonment or whatever. But let's levitate here for just one more moment.
We're big CGI birds, so let's just circle this room and just laugh and cackle for a little bit.
Let's not get too far out of the globe.
Yeah, because that's a good plan, I reckon.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, so Shakespeare has to save the day because he loves words or whatever. And then he starts just monologuing, I guess. Doesn't really make any sense, does it?
He says biggly wiggly.
He doesn't say biggly wiggly. Enough of it.
He waggles his finger and he goes, "Iggledy piggledy, get out of higgledy."
He'd be instantly dead in this scenario.
I'd be fucked.
Instantly vaporized. No, he starts monologuing, just making up some bullshit on the spot. And then he saves the day. Martha gives him the suggestion to end it off with Expelliarmus. And then they all shout it, and the day is saved. And then David Tennant says, "Good old JK."
Hasn't aged the best.
No, it's not. Again, on Twitter we had some thoughts come in. This is from Talking Pictures at Talking Pics Pod on Twitter. There's only so far writers can predict the future in a time travel show, so I'm sure they assumed that good old JK would age relatively okay, which is fair enough. Can you think of other instances where Doctor Who has aged poorly in relation to our real world?
Yes, the career and life of Shane Ward.
Is Shane Ward ever get cancelled? I don't think so.
No, he didn't get cancelled, but like they were like, he's gonna have 1 million number ones.
Yeah. No, I think most of it is casting and like
John Barrowman, they'd probably regret doing.
Yeah, John Barrowman, some not great stuff has surfaced. Noel Clarke, obviously. And then there's a writer who's just very much of the, the JK ilk, who's like one of her cronies. He wrote the Unicorn and the Wasp, I believe.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that's going to be a bit of a somber episode when we get to that.
I like that episode, man.
Lawrence, stop.
Can we take these works and just pretend they don't exist to them?
Well, that's a whole other thing.
It is, yeah.
But yeah. So good old JK. It's very much. Of course, they didn't know. JK wasn't as much of an absolute fuckhead as she is now back then.
No, and to be fair, like up until like 5 years ago, no one could have predicted this.
Yeah, it was a pretty safe bet to put JK. It was very much of Harry Potter was huge at the time as well.
Yeah,
the movies were still coming out, so it was pretty much like a safe bet. Now it's just kind of gross and kind of ruins it, really.
But also, there's an element of like not to be too serious and like. Things aging badly, like it will ruin like a short-term enjoyment. And the conflict resolution of this episode is kind of tarred with a gross brush now, but at the same time, it does mean that like as we go on and as the future happens to us in real time, people are getting like worse, but also called out for being worse. Yeah. So there's an element of like, I'm glad that we know what a tremendous piece of shit is, so that we don't clap and applaud this episode.
I take some solitude in the fact that, in this episode it's David Tennant who says good old JK. There's not a fucking chance David Tennant would say that line today.
Oh god, no.
David Tennant is the fucking biggest fucking ally and supporter of like trans rights and all that sort of stuff. I believe him and Georgia, one of their kids is non-binary, I believe.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and they are both like massive supporters of that, of transgender rights and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, David today would be like, fuck no, like not a chance.
Yeah, not a chance in hell. Yeah. And like, unfortunately, it's a nature of time moving on and people revealing themselves. Yeah.
I'm sure it will happen again. Actually, going back to what Talking Pictures said in terms of like, other characters and other stuff that pops up in Doctor Who. There is an episode focused around Winston Churchill, and they're just like, oh, he's great.
And best man in the universe.
Best man. And there's a lot of stuff is just glossed over. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but like,
I don't know if that's aged as badly. I think that's just the production team not doing a good enough job acknowledging.
Yeah, that's just more British people being uncomfortable with calling out Churchill for the bad shit that he's done, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look into it if you don't know. Some pretty grim shit.
I was about to excited. I can't think of many more, but excited to find more problematic instances along the road.
I'm sure we will. I'm 100% sure this is not the first time we'll come across some problematic shit.
This show's been going on for too long to have a sparkly clean record now.
Yeah.
So
I dare to think diving into the depths of classic Who, like we'll find. Is Jimmy Savile an episode? Probably.
Sounds like the kind of thing that he'd be weird in and want to do.
Or he'd do some weird promo for it at least.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yucky.
Let's not think about that. Yeah.
That's the episode. You got any more comments?
No, it's bad.
No, I meant from people on Twitter.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah.
I thought you were like, no, our engagement's shit, man. It's in the toilet.
No, I do. So obviously the episode ends, the Queen Elizabeth shows up and she's like,
of course.
Doctor, off with his head. Good bit of fun, I think. Yeah. Fun ending, fun little intrigue. Like, oh, what's this? What's happened there? So we've got a few comments about this. First of all, friend of the show, friend of ours, Scott, who was at your wedding.
Scott, indeed. Yeah, I know people outside of my wedding. You always contextualize like, were they a real friend if they weren't at the wedding?
Well, you gotta let people know.
That's true.
Scott says, well, I said, like, any thoughts? And then Scott says, just that the ending still plays on my mind to this day. Like, what did the Doctor do? Unless I've got salad for brains, I don't think they revisit why the Queen is so mad at him. It is brought up again, Scott. You are a dumb cunt.
You do indeed have salad for brains, Scott.
You have salad for brains, you idiot. No, it's never like explicit. Well, it kind of is explicitly mentioned, but like they hint at it quite a few times during the RTD era, but then it's like fully brought about in the 50th anniversary. Just that the fact that 10 kind of had a bit of an affair with Queen Elizabeth and then just basically left her. Really,
and called her like a sucker alien and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. So he I was going to say something very not pleasant then, but there we go. And then
can't be worse than gobby, surely.
I don't know if I've kept them in.
Well, there's another bleep for you.
And then David Smith at Bouncy David on Twitter says, I always liked the hanging thread of how the Doctor became the enemy of the Queen, set up in this episode that we don't find out the answer to until the 50th anniversary. I'd love to see a similar scenario, but a mess one Doctor creates is resolved by a different incarnation. That does kind of happen with... Again, speaking of the 50th anniversary, like the stuff with the Zygons is like brought up in that, but then it's kind of dropped for like the Doctor and Gallifrey stuff, and then that thread isn't necessarily resolved until Peter Capaldi's run.
That's true. Yeah, I remember.
So yeah, that's the first one that comes to mind. I'm sure there might be others, but yeah, definitely interesting to have like one Doctor start a problem and then have another resolve it. That's quite interesting.
The 7th Doctor has beef with the people that shot him that doesn't get resolved.
Well, I don't know if he has beef with the people that shoot him because he just kind of gets shot and dies. So,
no, I don't know. Has that happened at any point? Is there anything that 9 left undone for 10? I'll tell you what. Every single one of them fucks the
Nothing in the
TARDIS
show,
before
anyway.
they regenerate, and the next one has to deal with that.
All right. Let's just be clear for a moment. When you say "fucked the TARDIS," all right, do you mean like they like broke something,
Yeah,
or
they
like
started crashing.
Okay,
It, yeah.
right, okay.
I don't think anyone else was thinking what you were thinking.
Well, I don't know. I have to check with you sometimes. I don't know.
I don't know. Anything else I think the Zygon thing is probably the most.
Yeah,
notable.
that's the biggest one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others though. But hey,
as we get to them, we will let you know.
I don't know if this counts, but maybe 10th Doctor and 14th Doctor. That could.
There's probably some in there. There's probably a Donna-centric storyline there.
Yeah, well, there is.
Well, yeah, I know that. No, but like in the sense of like
maybe Donna will be in the episode. Who knows?
Whatever. Any more comments?
No, that's it. That's everything.
Then you know what you must do.
So if you wanna get in on that, I'll put up another post next week, and if you wanna, I'll probably actually be, if you listen to this on the day it comes out, it'll probably be up tomorrow, or if you listen to this after, might be up now. Go check at Still Got Legs Pod if you want to give us your thoughts on the next episode. So.
Lovely stuff.
There you go.
I love talking about weirdos, Nathan. I wish there was a theme song that would.
There is.
Oh.
Weirdo of the Week. Weirdo.
Hello and welcome to what? This.
How tired are you?
I'm very tired. I'm also hungry. This is the part of the show where we get to take a look back and... No, wait, what do I usually say? This is everyone's favourite segment of the show where we get the chance to take a look back and reflect on some of the weird and wonderful and grubby little characters who come across our screens each and every week. Lawrence, please tell who is your weirdo for this week while I'm still trying to think of mine.
Two pleasant weirdos. For no, I often I get reduced the weirdos to like sex criminals and proper creeps.
Yes.
This time, two relatable weirdos.
You got two?
I do. Well, they share a scene, and the scene is the weird aspect.
Can I have one of them?
Sure. Do you know what? You're tired. I'll let you in on this one.
Okay.
But you tell me who they were.
No.
You must know, surely.
Yeah. I mean, I do, but you I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, well, of course. That would be rude. So my weirdo is the one on the left of the two actors that get given their script, and I just enjoy. I feel like this is quite relatable. We went to uni. We often were handed Shakespeare scenes. We had a whole module about doing a Shakespeare scene that we had to get through.
Yeah.
And I can relate very much to being given a scene, reading it, and being like, "What the fuck's this about?" There was a scene I specifically did. It was measure for measure, and it was like a big wordy scene, and I didn't understand a single thing I was saying. But the director came over to me and was like, "This, you're being vindictive and angry," and I was like, "That's all I need, boss. Take it away."
That was such a big module as well, and now I could not even tell you what fucking play my scene was from.
Do you remember what you were doing in it?
No, I remember I did it with Kendall. Other than that, no.
Good.
So,
but when I figure out what Shakespeare play Kendall might have been doing, we'll get on this. No, but I sympathise with two actors being handed material. They're on a break and they've been given a script.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, fuck's this? I don't know. At least I get to say it into the middle of the thing and be done."
They also get it the day of the show as well.
Yeah,
and they've got to learn it by the night, I guess. Like
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, but maybe it was just maybe they'd been rehearsing the whole play because it was scheduled for the next week, and they just had to. It was that last scene they hadn't got nailed down.
Yeah, maybe. But still, it's a whole scene though.
Yeah, I mean, it took me 2 months to learn mine, so.
Yeah.
But I'm not paid the big bucks at the Globe, am I? Sorry for the man himself.
I don't think they were, to be fair. No, I'll have my own. So I'll take Shakespeare for my weirdo, just because he's just a fucking. They gave him 7 personalities at once. Yeah, really.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a bit of a horny creep. He was a kind of autistic genius. He was just every
a
kind
soulful observer.
Yes. They just kind of forced too much into him, I think, and it kind of resulted in this bit of a mess. Is it accurate? Probably not. He's hot though, so who cares, I guess.
An extremely weird choice to portray Shakespeare as an incoherent racist.
Yeah, but was Shakespeare?
He does the sequel thing. He earns his titular ruffles for the next Shakespeare.
Yeah, they gave him the little Marvel little nod thing or whatever. It's like when Wolverine needs to put on a yellow top or whatever, and they're like, "Wow, this is stupid."
Yeah. I'll wear it in the sequel instead, I think. Or was it in have you seen Uncharted?
No.
Mark Wahlberg at the end, and the post-credit scene, Nathan Drake is like, "What is that on your lip?" And he's like, "It's Sully's moustache from the games. I am now sporting a moustache for the next film."
Is that what he said?
No, obviously not.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could be. I haven't seen it. So there we go. So that is everything, I believe.
Yeah. Excited for next week.
Yes. Yeah, should be. Oh. Some of next week.
Oh, no.
No, it's nothing like that. It's just we got to get back into Face of Bow talk, don't we?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So we'll see. But yeah, next week should be a lot of fun. These podcast episodes, again, I thought this would be a breezy one. But because we're fucking talking about one that's not that great, but somehow it's been almost an hour and 20 minutes.
We have gotten good at the art of stretching nothing.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd say that's good, but
it's good for podcasts, long form content.
Let us know, should these be shorter, should they be longer?
What is your ideal length? Tell us to the minute.
I think around about an hour is...
Tell us to the minute, and every week will match someone's length.
Anytime I see my little timer get over an hour, I start to feel uneasy. We should be wrapping this up.
I get visibly uncomfortable at the amount of editing I'm looking at doing.
Yes.
Oh god.
Well, you're not editing this. I am.
It's true. Tell it to my one last week that went for like an hour and 40 minutes. Anyway, speaking of wrapping this up, what I will say is that if you have enjoyed this every single... fuck, right. Anyway, speaking of wrapping this up, what I will say is that... why am I fucking this?
Well, are you okay? Are you having a stroke?
No, I'm not. I just keep tripping up over the same bit. Right. If you've enjoyed listening to this, new episodes of this show come out every single Monday at 10 a.m. You can give us a little follow. We are at Still Got Legs Pod. We are on Threads. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram, but we're not really on Instagram, so you may as well not follow us there. But follow us on Threads or Twitter or X or whatever the fuck Elon Musk decides it is next week. And depending on what explicit name he chooses for a site of social media, give us a little follow there. You can also give the show a little review, share it out with your mates. We've been having a good time. We're into season 3 now.
You can just on the reviews, do it on your app of choice. Just go on there, give us a little review, write 5 stars or more. We don't want anything less than 5 stars, and I have noticed a few more have popped up recently on there, so very, very kind. Thank you for anyone who has done that. I really appreciate it. And on both podcasts, that is.
Write a review. So, we'll have a little read. We'll stroke our egos.
Well, maybe. Well, not on the pod, because we'll run out very quickly.
No, but we'll read them to ourselves. And read them to ourselves. Quite chuffed, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a FaceTime call and talk about how good people think we are.
Exactly. And speaking of our other podcast, we have another podcast. It's called Another Happy Pod. Comes out every Friday at 10 a.m. This most recent episode was all about Barbie. So go listen to that if you want to have a good, fun time.
We got our resident girl on.
We got our resident girl to talk about the Girl movie.
No, jokes aside, it's a very nice conversation, I think. And yes. I had a lot of fun talking about it, and it's a good movie, so go see it if you haven't seen it.
And hey, maybe you'll learn something, okay?
yeah, exactly. I was going to say, even if you can get tickets to see it, because apparently it's sold out fucking everywhere right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Doing numbers.
Movies are back, baby.
Not like Oppenheimer, which I heard is bombing.
Hey! Oh, you said the bomb thing.
Hey!
Now I am become flop.
Now I am become
destroyer of box office.
Now I am become death.
Fucking scared me then. I didn't know what
That's
you
what
were
he
doing.
said, wasn't it? Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, bye everyone. Sorry this went on for a while.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, we always like to end these.
All right.
In general.
Yeah. I guess.